It was a crisp October evening in 2026 when the world stopped spinning for a moment. The news broke like a thunderclap across every screen in America. CNN, Fox, X, even the dusty old TVs in rural diners flickered with the same headline: Elon Musk announces bid for U.S. presidency. The billionaire visionary, the man who'd sent rockets to Mars and turned electric cars into a cultural juggernaut, had just dropped a political bombshell no one saw coming. X, exploded into a frenzy of memes, hot takes, and conspiracy theories. Was this real? Could he even run? And what did it mean for a country already teetering on the edge of division? The announcement came straight from Musk's sprawling Starbase compound in Texas. Standing atop a gleaming Tesla Cybertruck, flanked by a towering Starship prototype, he addressed a crowd of thousands, engineers, tech bros, and curious locals who'd driven hours to hear him speak. His voice, amplified by drones hovering with speakers, carried that familiar mix of awkward charm and unshakable confidence. "America's a machine," he said, pausing for effect as the wind tousled his hair. "And right now it's running on outdated software. I'm here to reboot it." The crowd roared, a sea of red hats and blue collars united in a rare moment of bipartisan awe. Musk wasn't just tossing his hat in the ring, he was hurling a futuristic gauntlet at the feet of Washington's old guard. He didn't align with Republicans or Democrats. Instead, he unveiled a new platform, the Frontier Party. Its motto? Bold ideas, no bullshit. His speech was a whirlwind of promises: AI-driven government efficiency, a national high-speed rail network powered by Hyperloop tech, and a citizen's dividend funded by taxing automation. It was radical, audacious, and quintessentially Elon. Back in Washington, the reaction was immediate and chaotic. Pundits on cable news tripped over themselves to dissect the legality of it all. Born in South Africa, Musk wasn't a natural-born U.S. citizen, a fact that sparked instant outrage and debate. Constitutional scholars flooded the airwaves arguing over loopholes and amendments. He became a citizen in 2002, one professor pointed out on MSNBC. Unless he pulls off some insane legal gymnastics, this is dead on arrival. But Musk's supporters didn't care about the fine print. To them, he was a middle finger to a system they'd long stopped trusting. In suburban Ohio, Jenny Carter, a single mom and Tesla assembly line worker, watched the speech on her phone while her kids bickered over mac and cheese. She'd voted Democrat her whole life, but something about Musk's vision clicked. "He's not like the rest of them," she muttered, scrolling X for reactions. "He actually builds stuff." Meanwhile, in a Manhattan high-rise, hedge fund manager Derek Voss scoffed at the same speech. "A stunt," he told his colleagues over whiskey. "He's just trolling us." But even Derek couldn't deny the shiver of unease. Musk had a way of turning the impossible into reality. By midnight, the story dominated every corner of American life. Bars in Texas toasted to President Musk with Shiner Bock, while California techies debated his policies over kombucha. The announcement wasn't just news, it was a cultural earthquake. And as the nation buzzed, one question hung in the air: could Elon Musk, the eccentric genius who'd conquered space and industry, actually conquer the White House? For better or worse, the 2028 election had just gotten a hell of a lot more interesting. The morning after Elon Musk's bombshell announcement, America woke up to a nation divided. Not just by politics, but by possibility. By 8 a.m. Eastern Time, the hashtag Musk for President was trending worldwide on X, with over 10 million posts. Supporters flooded the platform with AI-generated images of Musk in the Oval Office, Starship blueprints plastered across the White House lawn. Detractors, meanwhile, dug into the Constitution like it was a treasure map, pointing to Article 2, Section 1. No person except a natural-born citizen shall be eligible to the office of president. Musk's South African birth certificate was Exhibit A in their case. But Musk, he wasn't fazed. At 9:15 a.m., he posted on X, "The Constitution's a living document. If the people want a reboot, we'll find a way. Stay tuned." Cryptic as ever, the tweet sent legal analysts into overdrive. Within hours, a team of high-profile lawyers, bankrolled by Musk himself, filed a case with the Supreme Court, arguing that the natural-born citizen clause was an outdated relic, a barrier to merit-based leadership in a globalized world. The filing cited Musk's decades as a U.S. citizen, his contributions to the economy, and a wild-card precedent from a 19th century case no one had heard of. It was a long shot, but Musk thrived on long shots. While the legal battle brewed, the Frontier Party kicked into gear. Headquarters sprouted overnight in Austin, Texas. A sleek, glass-walled building powered entirely by solar panels and Tesla batteries. Volunteers poured in, a mix of tech enthusiasts, disillusioned independents, and blue-collar workers who saw Musk as their ticket out of stagnation. Jenny Carter, the Ohio mom from Part 1, drove 14 hours with her kids to join the movement. "I don't care where he was born," she told a local reporter, clutching a Frontier Party flyer. "He's more American than half the suits in D.C." Musk's platform began to take shape, and it was unlike anything the country had seen. He proposed scrapping the IRS for a flat innovation tax on corporations, with the revenue funding universal healthcare and education, delivered via SpaceX-inspired logistics. He wanted to replace Congress with a digital assembly, where citizens voted directly on laws through a blockchain app. And then there was the kicker: a manned Mars mission by 2032, funded by slashing military spending. "We're not here to fight wars on Earth," he said at a rally in Nevada. "We're here to colonize the stars." The crowd, cowboys and coders alike, lost their minds. Washington's reaction was predictably hostile. Senate Majority Leader Karen Holt, a Democrat with a knack for soundbites, called Musk a megalomaniac playing dress-up. House Speaker Tom Rourke, a Republican stalwart, sneered, "He's a carnival barker, not a leader." But their outrage only fueled the fire. Polls showed Musk's approval rating spiking to 38% overnight, higher than either party's frontrunners. Political consultants whispered about a Musk effect, a populist wave that could drown the establishment. Back in Manhattan, Derek Voss watched the chaos unfold with growing alarm. He'd made a fortune shorting Tesla stock years ago, only to lose it when Musk defied the odds. Now he saw history repeating. "He's a disruptor," Derek admitted to his wife over dinner. And disruptors don't lose quietly. Across the country, ordinary Americans felt the same pull. In a Detroit bar, auto worker Mike Torres raised a beer to his buddies. "Musk's crazy," he said, grinning. "But maybe crazy's what we need." As the Supreme Court scheduled an emergency hearing, the nation held its breath. Musk wasn't just running for president, he was rewriting the rules of the game. And whether he won or lost, nothing would ever be the same. By November 2026, the United States was a pressure cooker and Elon Musk was the flame beneath it. His presidential bid had ignited a legal showdown that gripped the nation, culminating in a historic Supreme Court hearing dubbed Musk versus United States. The stakes? Whether a naturalized citizen could run for the highest office or if the Constitution would slam the door on Musk's ambitions. Outside the marble steps of the court in Washington, D.C., protesters clashed, Frontier Party faithful waving signs like "Merit over Birthright" faced off against traditionalists chanting "Born in the USA." Riot police formed an uneasy line as cable news helicopters buzzed overhead. Inside, the atmosphere was no less electric. Musk's legal team, led by a silver-haired constitutional maverick named Abigail Torres, argued with surgical precision. The framers couldn't foresee a world where a man like Elon Musk, naturalized at 31, would embody the American dream more than most born here, Torres declared, her voice steady. She pointed to his creation of 500,000 jobs, his role in national security via SpaceX, and a quirky 1801 case where a foreign-born governor had been deemed eligible for federal office. The justices leaned forward, scribbling notes. Even the skeptics couldn't deny the audacity of it all. The government's attorney, a dark careerist named Paul Grayson, countered with a brick-wall defense. "The natural-born clause isn't a suggestion, it's a safeguard," he insisted. Allowing exceptions risks foreign influence at the highest level. He painted Musk as a wild card, a billionaire unbound by tradition whose loyalties might lie beyond America's borders. The gallery murmured as Grayson landed his punches, but Musk's supporters saw it as fearmongering. Jenny Carter, watching the live stream from the Frontier Party HQ in Austin, clutched her coffee cup. "They're scared of him," she whispered to a fellow volunteer. "That's how you know he's onto something." Musk himself sat in the front row, dressed in a black suit that screamed Silicon Valley more than Capitol Hill. He didn't fidget or scowl, just watch with that piercing gaze, occasionally tapping notes into his phone. X lit up with real-time reactions. "Elon's about to hack the Constitution," one user posted, racking up 50,000 likes. Another countered, "This is a circus. He's not even American." The justices, aware of the cultural tidal wave outside, pressed both sides hard. Chief Justice Elena Ramirez, a swing vote, asked the question on everyone's mind: if we rule for Mr. Musk, where does it stop? Could anyone with enough money and fame rewrite the rules? The hearing stretched into a second day, a rarity that underscored the gravity of the moment. Torres closed with a flourish. Elon Musk isn't asking for a crown, he's asking for a chance to serve. Let the people decide. Grayson's rebuttal was stern. The people don't get to rewrite the Constitution on a whim. As the justices recessed to deliberate, the nation braced for a verdict that could redefine American democracy. In Ohio, Mike Torres, the Detroit auto worker, skipped his shift to watch with his crew at a bar. If he wins this, it's game over for the suits, he said, cracking open a Miller Lite. In Manhattan, Derek Voss paced his office, muttering about chaos agents to his staff. Across the country, Americans of every stripe felt the same tension. Musk wasn't just fighting for a candidacy, he was fighting for a new America. The Supreme Court's decision, expected within weeks, would either launch him toward the White House or send the Frontier Party crashing back to Earth. Either way, the fault lines were drawn. On December 15, 2026, the Supreme Court delivered its verdict in Musk v. United States, and the nation held its breath as Chief Justice Elena Ramirez read the decision. In a 5-4 ruling, the court shocked the world. Elon Musk was eligible to run for president. The majority opinion, penned by Justice Ramirez, leaned on a bold interpretation of the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause, arguing that barring naturalized citizens of Musk's stature violated the spirit of a meritocratic republic. The natural-born clause, she wrote, cannot stand as an arbitrary gatekeeper when a citizen has proven their loyalty through decades of service. The dissenters fumed, warning of a slippery slope, but it didn't matter, the door was open. America erupted. In Austin, Frontier Party supporters flooded the streets, honking Tesla horns and waving flags emblazoned with the party's logo, a stylized rocket piercing a horizon line. Jenny Carter, now a full-time campaign organizer, wept as she hugged her kids outside the HQ. He did it, she said, voice trembling. He actually did it. In Detroit, Mike Torres and his bar buddies cheered like it was the Super Bowl, clinking beers to President Musk. Even in Manhattan, Derek Voss, though grudgingly, tipped his hat. The bastard pulled it off, he muttered, already calculating how to profit from the chaos. Musk wasted no time. Hours after the ruling, he launched his campaign with a rally at Cape Canaveral, Florida, where a Falcon Heavy roared into orbit mid-speech, a not-so-subtle flex of his SpaceX empire. This isn't about me, he told the crowd, his voice crackling through the humid air. It's about us, about building a future where every American gets a shot at the stars. His platform sharpened. A digital bill of rights to protect free speech online, a pledge to cut federal spending by 30% using AI audits, and a controversial plan to offer citizenship to any immigrant who'd innovate for America. It was a tech-utopian fever dream, and it electrified his base. The establishment scrambled. Democrats branded him a Silicon Valley dictator, while Republicans called him a liberal Trojan horse. Both parties unleashed attack ads, grainy clips of Musk's quirky moments, like dancing at a Tesla event or tweeting about Dogecoin, spliced with ominous music. But the ads backfired. Americans didn't want polish, they wanted disruption. Polls showed Musk surging to 45% approval, neck-and-neck with the frontrunners, Senator Lisa Chin, Democrat California, and Governor Rick Dalton, Republican Texas. The 2028 race was no longer a two-horse contest, it was a three-way brawl. On the ground, the Frontier Party's grassroots machine roared to life. Volunteers canvassed in Cybertrucks, handing out solar-powered phone chargers stamped with Vote Musk. X became a battleground, with Musk's posts, equal parts policy and provocation, racking up millions of views. Why do we spend $800 billion on defense when we could spend half that and still out-tech anyone? He tweeted, sparking a firestorm. Supporters hailed his logic, critics called him naive. Meanwhile, his rallies drew eclectic crowds, tech nerds, factory workers, even farmers who saw his automation tax as a lifeline. By spring 2027, the campaign was a cultural phenomenon. Musk's face graced Times cover, the rebooter-in-chief, and late-night hosts roasted his quirks mercilessly. But beneath the spectacle, a deeper shift brewed. Jenny saw it in Ohio towns hit hard by layoffs. People who'd never voted were registering for Musk. Mike felt it in Detroit's union halls, where skepticism turned to hope. Even Derek, in his ivory tower, sensed the tide. The verdict had unleashed not just a candidacy but a movement. And as the primaries loomed, one thing was clear: Musk was rewriting America's political DNA. By November 6, 2028, the United States was a nation transformed, not by policy, not yet, but by the sheer force of Elon Musk's campaign. Election day dawned crisp and tense, with record turnout from coast to coast. Polling stations buzzed with first-time voters, many clutching Frontier Party stickers or wearing Reboot America tees. The primaries had been brutal. Senator Lisa Chin clinched the Democratic nod with a progressive coalition, while Governor Rick Dalton rode a wave of conservative fury to the Republican ticket. But Musk, the wild card, had swept the independent vote and siphoned defectors from both sides, turning the race into a photo finish. The campaign's final stretch was pure Muskian chaos. He barnstormed the country in a custom Starship-turned-airship, landing in swing states like Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Nevada to deliver rapid-fire rallies. "We're not just electing a president," he told a packed stadium in Columbus, Jenny Carter cheering in the front row. "We're uploading a new operating system for humanity." His closing pitch doubled down on the citizens' dividend, $1,000 a month for every American, funded by taxing AI profits, and a vow to make the U.S. the first carbon-negative superpower by 2035. Detractors screamed socialism, supporters saw salvation. Election night unfolded like a Hollywood thriller. Early returns showed Dalton leading in the South, Chen dominating the coasts, and Musk carving a jagged path through the Midwest and Mountain West. X crashed twice from the volume of posts, with hashtag MuskWins trending alongside hashtag StopTheSteal. In Detroit, Mike Torres watched the results roll in at his bar, fist-pumping as Michigan flipped Frontier Blue, a color Musk had cheekily adopted for his party. In Manhattan, Derek Voss, now hedging bets on Musk-friendly stocks, paced his penthouse, muttering, "This lunatic might actually do it." At 2:14 a.m. Eastern Time, the call came. Elon Musk won the presidency with 281 electoral votes, edging out Chin, 145, and Dalton, 112. The popular vote was a razor-thin 34%, but the Electoral College, ironically a system Musk had once called archaic, handed him the keys to the White House. America gasped, then roared. Austin erupted in fireworks, while D.C. braced for impact. Protests flared in blue cities, but Musk's victory speech, broadcast from Starbase, struck a conciliatory tone. "This isn't a win for me," he said, staring into the camera. "It's a win for every American who's ready to build again." Inauguration Day, January 20th, 2029, was a spectacle. Musk took the oath on a copy of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, a nod to his nerd roots, as a Tesla Roadster idled behind him. His first act? An executive order greenlighting the Hyperloop network, with groundbreaking set for Ohio, Jenny's home state. She wept as she watched, her kids beside her, now believers in a future she'd fought for. Mike toasted the screen in Detroit, already eyeing a job on the project. Even Derek, sipping champagne in New York, smirked. "Let's see if he can deliver," he said, but the doubt was softer now. Musk's presidency wasn't perfect. Gridlock stalled his digital assembly, and the Mars mission hit funding snags, but it was undeniably bold. By 2030, the citizens' dividend rolled out, easing Rust Belt despair, and SpaceX launched the first civilian lunar trip. America didn't just reboot, it rewired. For better or worse, Musk had shocked the world, and left it forever changed.